Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing. It has been a little while since I've taped any of my processes. I do still have a couple of videos in the works, just have not had the gumption to get them up on YouTube. So I don't know. Yeah, so you haven't seen any of the videos where I've talked about this before. My mother-in-law passed away recently, and I'm just finally in an emotional space to be able to create around that, which I typically do create around hard events or challenging chapters of our lives. And so I'm working on a 12 by 12 MDF board, and I'm using this beautiful printable from Sean Petit's collage pack. I believe it's called Old Doors. I'll be sure to link her collage packs in the description box or in the supply list. So that's going to be my focal point. I'm going to try to keep this really simple. I always say that and then I end up going overboard, but I'm really in this heart place where I feel like I'm just going to kind of move through it naturally. I'm going to step outside of my comfort zone, outside of the normal box that I would find myself in regards to creating, so I can just kind of create from my heart. Her memorial service is this coming week, so I am finally kind of shifting into that space where I'm processing that in a little bit of a different way. So I've got this as my focal point, and I've got my air conditioner running, so I apologize if that's loud, but it's warm in here, and so I do need it. I've pulled some vintage papers. This is from a book that I found, a children's book, so I'm going to incorporate that into the background because the focus of this piece is chapters, the chapters of our life, and kind of how we move through those chapters and how we do that in our humanity, but hopefully we also do it with grace for the people around us and for the history that we have with that person, regardless of what the circumstances are or what the relationship looked like. The people that we lose have a great value in our stories, and so I really want to honor my mother-in-law by doing this piece. So I thought these would be really cute. As in usually with mixed media, these background papers don't really show, but I'm going to try to retain as much of it as I can and go as light as possible. So I'm not even going to be showing you supplies that I'm going to be using other than the collage papers, because I really want to just move through it intuitively and from my heart. So these are some old music pages, also from a book that I purchased recently. And I didn't pick this one on purpose. It was on the top of the stack of papers that I've already scanned, and it's a flower from Mother's grave. So I thought, wow, how interesting is that I would pick that. So anyway, that's what I'll be using, and I will do my best to keep you updated as I move through. Again, it's going to be fairly intuitive. I might be a little quieter than I would normally be in the video, and so here we go. I have already gessoed my MDF board just in preparation for this. It's probably not completely dry, but that's not really a big deal because I'm going to just be collaging some paper stuff on. So I'm going to move this over because I'm not quite in frame here. So there we go. That's better. I feel better about that. So I did pick some golden fluid acrylics in kind of the blue-green tone. But again, I'm not real sure what I'm going to end up using. I did also pull some stencils out, and again, just really not sure what I want to use. So here we go. So I'm going to start with going ahead. I'm going to put this on, I believe, last. So I'm going to do all of my texturing and all of my stuff. I'm not sure. It never really goes well for me. I may put it on now, now that I think about it. I think that's going to work better for me. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that. So, and I apologize, guys, if I hop around a little bit. It's been a while. I've been creating. I just haven't been taping. And the recent videos that I've done have been around junk journaling and not mixed media. So it's been a little while since I have done it. I actually did do a recording of a mixed media piece that I did for my best friend, which will air later on. I just, again, don't have it in me right now to get that up on YouTube, because it's a Sunday's Art of Truth, which means I have to find that heart place to write about what the piece is about, and I'm just not there right now. So so that's kind of the backstory there. So I'm trying to get a bigger brush here because I've got this paper's kind of big. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my matte medium down. Oop, getting stuff all over myself already. And again, it doesn't matter that the background, that the gesso is not completely dry, because it's there. And it does look like it's pretty dry. It's a little bit warm here today. So here, I believe it's May the 17th. So yeah, it's going to get a lot of matte medium on here and really get that to adhere well. So I'm going to kind of put it, I'm debating on whether or not, you know what, I think I want to put it a little bit offset now that I think about it, and maybe kind of down towards the bottom. It is transferring a little bit of color because I just printed it and I meant to zap it with my heat tool and I forgot to do that. So it's it is going to shift. The color is going to bleed a little bit just because I have an inkjet printer and it tends to do that. That's not a problem unless you're using wet medium. So just trying to get some of that smoothed out here. Don't have much stuff underneath here apparently because it's wanting to lift. Just gonna kind of smooth this out where I can. And when I get done with this piece and I post it on Facebook and on my channel, I am going to do a giveaway of this piece. I don't need any more art in my house. I'm not selling my art, so I thought a great way to move some of that product is to go ahead and just do a giveaway. So if the story around this speaks to you, if you want to leave a comment in the description box or in the comments under the video, then you know, I'll pick somebody and I'll give it to you. So because again, it's going to be about chapters. So yeah, so there is that. It's a little bit bluish here, but that's okay. None of that is really going to show. You know, it doesn't matter. I am going to get some of the streakiness off the door though. I don't think I put enough matte medium under it, so I'm a little concerned about that. So there's our door. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my collage bits here. I've got this cute picture of the boy and girl. My father-in-law passed away about 16 months ago, so she's been without him and with dementia since then. So it's been tough for her, really tough for her. So I thought this picture was really cute. Obviously they weren't that young when they met, but just kind of that aged, and it's not as old as they are obviously either, but I like it, so I'm going to go ahead and incorporate it into the piece here. I think my brush is just not releasing enough matte medium here. Let me get my smaller one. There we go, that's better. I am using the originals. I just can't treat everything as so special anymore. I just need to create and enjoy the creating. So I did scan a bunch of them so that I'll have them, but I'm not worried about, just not going to worry about the originals anymore. So I love this one. Oh, this is so sweet. I must put you to bed. Go to sleep, Fuzzy. Go to sleep, baby. My mother-in-law was a very good mama to her boys. She had 3 boys. And, you know, we're all imperfect. And there's always, you know, kind of issues and things that we feel that you know, we lack, we didn't get, but she made sure her boys were taken care of. They were well fed, they were well mannered, they were taught a lot of really good things, so I think that they were very blessed to have her. I'm going to go ahead and put this one up kind of by the door here. Again, some of it's not going to show, but that's okay. I am going to probably do some brickwork here with some modeling paste or something. I'm not sure. We'll see. It's all just background paper. I love the little ducks. Oh, I love the ducks. I'm going to put those in there too. Such a cute little book too. I absolutely fell in love with it when I saw it. Put this one up here. Just right up to the edge here. Get a little more matte medium there. This is fluid matte medium, so it's very, very thin, which is really helpful when doing collaging. There we go. So we have 3 of those elements. I want to go ahead and bring in some of the music pages. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to actually get my tear ruler. Since I've been doing junk journaling, I've been using this tear ruler that creates this really cool kind of deckled edge when you're tearing paper. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. It's easier than fingers, and it creates a really nice line that's not that's a little, it's still rough, but it's not perfect. So I like it. This music book that I bought was copyrighted in 1878. I love the old stuff. I've had a really, really good time going through the old photos that we've been holding on to from my mother-in-law. So, so that's been kind of neat. Tear ruler, Renee. There we go. Let's go ahead and just tear some of this up. Get it where we want it to go. Again, a lot of this doesn't end up showing, and that's okay. And I apologize if that is off screen, but it is what it is. It was really a sad passing because due to COVID, it had been over a year since we had seen her. I saw her briefly once when they opened up the facility to socially distanced meetings, but by that point she was so far gone that my being there really, really upset her, and it was not worth it. To be quite honest, it was really hard for her, it was really hard for me, and a year is a long time, and she had a lot of decline in that period of time. Huge decline. So that was really hard. It's hard to lose people anyway, but when they have dementia, it's worse because, you know, they need people. They need people that can help them to, you know, remember and, you know, keep their minds sharp. And before the pandemic, I was seeing her 3 to 4 times a week, and then suddenly went to nothing. And I'm sure that somewhere in her mind, that didn't make a bit of sense and probably was very painful. And there's no way to explain it to her. There was no way she could ever understand it. It's just heartbreaking. I did get to be with her in the last probably 3 or 4 days. When we put her on hospice, I was able to. I went to the hospital before they put her on hospice, and then I was there at the facility after they put her on hospice. But she passed pretty quickly once she went on the hospice, so it's always a mixed mixed thing, you know. We don't want our loved ones to be in pain, but we also don't want to be in the, you know, we don't want the world without them, because, you know, there's relationship and there's history, and it's just hard. But those are the chapters we all go through. We're all going to go through it with our loved ones, with, you know, our families are going to go through it with us. And, you know, it's just life, and it just kind of sucks. It sucks a lot, in my opinion, but I'm going to put this piece up here just to kind of, covering up a little bit of those words, but that's okay. I just really liked this door, because when I think about chapters and I think about the journey that we're on, I think about time, I think about rulers and time and clocks and things like that, and I think about doors, and doors represent the choices that we make through our life, and the places that we go that that touch other people, quite frankly. So I mean, we affect people, whether it's negative or positive. We leave an imprint in somebody's world, and I want to leave a good imprint. I don't want to leave something hateful and nasty and bitter. So I just thought it would be cool to kind of focus on, you know, what do chapters mean to us, and how do we move through them gracefully. So I'm going to go ahead and come back in with some of the words from the book. Oh, look at that cute one. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that is I have to use that. That's just too cute. I don't really care for the cat, but I like the girl, so we're gonna get her in here somewhere. I'm not sure where. Oh my gosh. Can we put her down here? Yeah. It's my project. I can do what I want to, right? Like, it's my party. I'll cry if I want to. I love it. Oh, I just love these vintage books. So precious. So we've got some words here too we can go ahead and use, just to not waste the paper. So we'll get this down here. I'm going to go ahead and cut that straight, that edge straight, so that I can go along the bottom here. And just kind of put it there. Covers up a little bit of her, but there's a lot of this that we're not going to see. But as I've mentioned before in other mixed media projects, the layers mean everything to me in the process. And I know for a lot of mixed media artists that's true. And the layers tell a story just as much as the end product tells a story. So the layers are very, very important. So even if you lose some of the visibility of it, if they're still there, and we know that they're there. So I'm going to know that all these pieces, all these pictures were here, even if we don't see them when I'm done, or we only see kind of just little hints of it, and that's okay. Oh, I love that tree right there. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, it almost looks like it could reconnect. Oh my gosh, I don't want to do that though, because that's kind of silly. I need to make this narrower though. Let me just trim this down a little bit. That would be so cool though. Maybe it can still go here. I think it can. Let's do it. That's too funny. I just grabbed this one. Wasn't even thinking it came out of the same page in the book. Look at that. I love it. You know, and that has meaning too. The fact that that picture was separated, and I picked this part for a purpose, and then I put the tree aside, and now I'm bringing the tree back in. To me, that means something, because it's representative of our story and how we process life and how we move through things. So I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody but me, but it makes a lot of sense to me. So hopefully I have enough. I may have to grab another one of these pages, because I only have little scraps left. So I'm going to go ahead and get some more of this and fill up some of these other sections. So I'm just pretty much trying to cover the cover all of the surface of the board here. I just love that. Oh my gosh, so cute. So cute. Okay, so we've got a lot to cover here, so I may have to, let's see if I can bring in a bit of this on that edge, because I've got a lot of edge on this other side that needs to be covered. So let's try to do this. Yeah, that works. A little edge here that needs to come off though. There we go. I like that little picture too. I think it needs to go in here. It needs to go on here. You ever feel like that when you're creating? It's like, oh, that's just, it's really important. It's getting in the way of the tree, but that's okay. That's okay. It's all a process. So let's see what else we've got here. We've got a bigger section up here that needs to be covered. I'll just tear a little bit more of this paper. Put this up here. I love how things overlap, so I'm not at all concerned about that. Oh, I got a lot of excess gel medium on this edge. Let me grab that here. Really quick. There we go. Okay. I think we need some more music pages maybe in this other space where the girl is. I don't mind if it's going sideways. It doesn't bother me. The key is just do what feels good to you. There's no right or wrong in any of this. Got a little hole here. I'm going to put this piece of paper here. There we go. I like the patchwork look of collaging for mixed media. So random. Okay. And now that I think about it, by the time you see this, everything will be over. The memorial service will have already taken place. So this is going to definitely be after the fact. But that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and use this music page up here on the top as well. Oh, I need to read this. It says, is filled with precious gems. I have pictures of friends dear. They laid her down to sleep close beside the old homestead. I like that. I like that a lot. And again, her head's a little covered, but that's okay. It's no big deal. What else do we got here? Got a little bit of an edge over here. I think I'm gonna bring, this would probably work just fine there, and it's probably just nearly long enough. So I think I'm gonna use that because it already has the straight edge on it, which is handy. There we go. Kind of a nice little frame with the leaves on it. Unintentional. So I think I do want just a bit of another piece here. Maybe we can put this little duck there, little chick. My mother-in-law was a very gentle woman. She was very quiet, and she didn't really know how to, you know, display love, like the way that she loved, the way she showed love was by cooking and, you know, things like that. She didn't really know how to communicate about that, but she was a very quiet, very easy person to be around. Really, really beautiful person. Okay, so I'm thinking that it's not, I'm going to put one more piece up here, but I think the rest of it's not really going to matter in terms of, you know, I've got this little bit that's not consistent, and I've got a little bit more down here because I'm going to be doing some texturing and stuff that's going to, by and large, cover that stuff up. So actually the green leaf, I don't have, oh, I do have a little more of that. Hey, there we go. Let's put that down here. May as well just put it on. Get it right up to the door. Since I've got scraps, I may as well use them. And looks like that's pretty much all I've got though. And I don't want to get another piece out if I don't have to. I think I'm going to put just a little piece of this here. Use it going the other way. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to pause and dry this, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, this is dry now. I'm going to go ahead and come in and do a little bit of stenciling with some modeling paste. Sorry, I forgot to grab my stencil. Just a second, I'm going to pause just a moment. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't think the process through before I turned the camera back on. So I'm not going to start with the stenciling of the brick. I did pull out Sean Petit's, cobblestone stencil. So I'll be using that to do some brickwork, probably around the door. And then I also pulled out, I haven't really used this stencil, I don't think. It looks like I used it once. It's part of my large stencil collection, which I don't tend to grab for as often as I do my Sean Petit stencils. But I thought this would be really cool. I like this design here, and I also like this one. I thought it would be kind of cool to have some of that element. I like this especially. So I'm going to do that first, and I'm going to be using some Crafters Workshop Light and Fluffy modeling paste to go ahead and create some texture. And I'm so out of practice, you guys. I forgot to grab my palette knife, so let me grab that as well here. Goodness gracious. Where is it? Bear with me, guys. Well, I need my square one. Where's my square one? I haven't created in this fashion in quite some time, so my supplies are a little bit odd right now. So okay, so we're gonna move on. So bear with me, guys. So oops, I'm stuck to the table here. Let me loosen this up here. Stuck to my mat. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this one. I just really felt like I wanted this one up in this corner. So we're going to do that. We're going to use a little bit of crackle paint too, I think. Not a lot, but a little bit at some point here. I actually ordered it from DecoArt this last week. They finally got it in stock. It's been out of stock forever, it seems like. So can't even get it on Amazon right now. So I went ahead and got 2 bottles. And just so you know, like, the shipping was so fast. Did not expect that. It was really, really a blessing. So, ooh, I really like that texture. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of it. It just doesn't really fit up there. Don't have to do it everywhere. So I think I'm going to call that good. I like that just up there. So I'm going to wipe this off because I'm going to use a different part of the stencil here. Don't want to transfer unnecessary stuff, but I also really, really like this. So I think I'm going to use this one here as well, just to create some stuff, some interest around the edges, perhaps. I don't move it, I don't clean it off every time I use it, only when I'm moving to a different part of the stencil, just so you know. Go wipe that off, and I have to be kind of careful here because I don't want to mess up what I just did. It doesn't have to stay perfect by any means, but I don't want to destroy it either. So, oh, I just love that. Love, love, love. It's a nice subtle element there. I don't think I've used it before, so I'm going to put a little bit up here as well. Oh man, that sucks. My stencil moved. Let's see how that goes. That's okay. Still texture. It's all right. Okay, do we want anything else? Maybe we'll put out some of these dots as well, just because we're doing texture here. So, except that's right in the middle of the stencil. So that's really going to be difficult. Let's give it a try though. We'll just be very, very gentle here. Yeah, not too bad. And how about a little bit up here? Okay, so I'm going to pause the camera and dry this and wash my stencil off. I don't have my bucket in here currently, so I'll be right back. Okay, so this texture is pretty much dry. There's just a close-up of that. I just love that kind of graded look. And as you can see, it is coming over the faces of the little photo or the pictures, but it's okay. So I did want to come in with a little bit of crackle paint. I just wanted to wait until that was mostly dry so I don't completely smear it. So I'm going to go ahead and use my DecoArt Media Crackle Paint, one of my favorite products of all time. I have missed it terribly. So I have to use it today. So I'm going to get my really long palette knife so that I can be kind of purposeful and yet not heavy-handed, I guess. So I'm going to just do a little bit of scraping here just to get a little bit of texture. I kind of want it to have like a cracked wall kind of look. So, and again, that to me, that just speaks to me of story and life and homes and things like that, that just, it's just so interesting. Each of our stories are so different, and yet we're very alike. You know, even though we grow up in different places, we take different journeys, we're all human, and the things that matter to us, you know, they really matter to all of us. It's not, oh my goodness, let me get that off of there. I don't want all that. Goodness gracious. Hopefully that was terrible. I just wanted a little bit here on this. I don't want to just completely disguise those circles, but I don't want them to look like circles either. So let's go up here a bit. I love the combination of the crackle paint and texture paste, or in some cases I use gesso. I just don't have a lot of luck with gesso because it tends to not dry as well as the texture paste, and then I end up having problems later. So, so I think I need a little bit over here on this. I started to do it and got off track here. Not a lot. Again, not a lot. I do want to leave some things visible, so I think that's probably good. And then I'm going to turn this just so I can get to this other edge. Just to create some subtle texture here and there. The crackle is just incredible. If you haven't seen it, oh my gosh, it's to die for. I love crackle. I love texture. It's my favorite thing about mixed media. If mixed media didn't have texture, I would want nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Okay guys, so I am going to pause now and dry this completely, and I'll be back with you when we're ready for the next step. Thanks. Okay, this is nice and dry. I love how the texture came out. So look at all these beautiful cracks. And I love how it mixes with this other texture that is made from the stencil and that texture paste. And then I just love this too up here in the corner. I love the cracks. It's just so aged and beautiful. Sorry, that's not focusing. There we go. Come on. Focus, focus, focus. I guess it's not going to focus. Sorry, guys. And then down, whoops, down to the bottom. So now I'm going to come in just as a first step with some Toffee Deco Art Americana paint. I'm going to water it down significantly. So let me I forgot to grab my spray bottle. Hang on. Just going to go ahead and mix some up here on my surface, or on my mat here. Goodness gracious. I just want to get a little bit of color, but I want it to be really mellow and not overpowering. So that's nice and water. Oh, it's very separating. It's a lot of water to that paint. That's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just give this a coat, just to kind of have a uniform background here. Really still don't have a plan, guys. I'm just, oh, I forgot I still need to do the texture around the door. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I'm a ditz. That's okay, we can do it after this. After this step. It's so funny how we forget things that we used to know how to do. We haven't been doing it for a while. I've really been enjoying the junk journaling though, really playing with paper a lot, and I'm really loving it. Okay, so we got a little bit of that out here. I'm going to go ahead and dry this so that I can come in and do that stenciling around the door. So I'll be right back. Okay, it is dry. Not sure if that was the best step, but again, there's going to be so much other color on here that it's not going to matter. So, so again, I apologize if this is a little disjointed. It's hard to get in the swing when you haven't been doing this kind of creative process. So I'm going to go ahead and come in with this stencil, and I'm going to go around the door. Here and there, so, well, not here and there, everywhere. So I'm going to kind of line it's kind of a bummer that, I wonder if I could go this way so I can get more landscape out of it here. Kind of looks funny going that way though, so I'm going to have to just work in steps here, and hopefully I can get it the way that I like it. So I'm going to kind of go about like that. So you can see I've got a little bit of the brick above the door and then a little bit on the sides. And I actually might, even though it's a different view, I think I might just go ahead and carry it on down here, and then I don't have to even move my stencil. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do here. Okay, so I've got my, I like my square palette knife for applying this kind of thing, so I'm going to use that. Except it's not enough. I'm going to have to go over because I need a little bit more coverage here. Can always wipe it off of the door if I get it on it. It's not a big deal. Which I am gonna, because I'm sloppy right now. Not very strategic at all. It's okay. Not a big deal. I'll just go ahead and wipe it off immediately when I lift this, and we'll be okay. There we go. Well, that's going to be lovely. Let me grab a baby wipe here really quick so I can get that off. Oh goodness, I didn't want a whole handful of baby wipes. Okay, here we go. I guess I could just use my finger. That would also work. Here we go. The angle's tricky. It'll be okay. It's just a rough work in progress. I do need to wipe this off though, because I don't want to transfer anything that's underneath the stencil onto another part of the project. So let me grab another baby wipe. Goodness, I am so out of practice. This is terrible. My hands aren't even working right. Okay, there we go. So now let's go ahead and do the other side of the door here. And I do need to put this back on. So I wonder if I can sort of, oh, that's kind of weird up there. Oh, it got the title of the stencil. I do not want that. That's happened to me before, and it's like, oh man, I didn't want that. Kind of weird. Okay, so let's just do our best here. I don't want to go that far. So I think I will go all the way on this one, because it's to the edge of the panels, or the MDF board. So I'm going to stand up so I can get a better chance at this, since I'm out of practice. Got two left hands. Okay. There we go. We all struggle sometimes though, don't we, with our art? It doesn't always come easy, does it? I'm just gonna wipe that part of the door. Don't want all that there. That's gonna really be pretty when it's done. I like it. Kind of messed up some of the rocks up there, but that's okay. It's mixed media. It's meant to be messy and unpredictable. Got a bunch of globs of modeling paper, yeah, texture paste here, so we'll wipe that off a little bit. Okay, so now let's do the next bit here, and I can try to keep it off of there by, oops, I need to bring that down so I can go below the door as well, all in one fell swoop. I need my right hand back. I don't like working with two left hands. Okay. What's that? Perfect. A lot of excess on this edge. I'll grab that, get that off. And again, wipe that excess off of the door. There we go. And we should be able to go right over here to the other side without affecting what I've already done. So, except, how about like that? Two left hands, guys. That's the problem here. Okay, so I'm going to try to hold it like this because I don't want to get it in that. That's already done. To just be very gentle here so that my stencil does not move, since I don't have a really good grasp on it right now. Okay, like so. Oh, I like that. I like how it kind of curved a little bit there. Didn't really expect that. I'm going to go ahead and wipe a little bit more of this off here. Kind of like that kind of sharp edge there. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to wipe that bit off. Okay, so we just have one more spot here. I'm liking that. I actually think I need to add a little bit of that brick elsewhere because I think it looks really cool. So I might do that. So I need to stand up because I'm right here on the edge of my table. It's a little bit tricky because I want to fill in this last little bit here. I can wipe off anything that I don't want here, so don't worry. I'm just going to come down here just to get it done. Get her done. Okay. So again, we're going to wipe off the excess here on the bottom of the door. Okay. And debating on, I think I need to take some of this off though because it's kind of, I don't want to put any more up here on this corner. Sorry, that's a little off camera, guys. Okay. Whew. Now I'm just thinking, I don't want that to look all kind of separated from the rest of the piece, so I think I'm going to come in with a little bit of this brick, just here and there, just to kind of make it look a little bit more like it fits. It's just little cobblestone bits here and there, like so. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go up here and put a little bit up here too. Again, trying to hold this so that I don't touch what I've already done. The layers are so cool. I love layers. I think I said that before. Beautiful. Put a little bit down here, kind of in the corner. Can. Loving that. Really loving that. I think I need a little bit up here at the top just so it doesn't look, it just needs to be, it needs to be represented in various places to not look kind of disjointed. So I'm going to put a little bit up here too. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. It's just background texture, so it's not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and let this dry, clean my stencil, and I'll be back with you. Okay guys, this is dry. I want to show you the texture around the door. I kind of wish it didn't look so squared off up here, but I think it's going to be okay, as well as down here. Sorry, trying to get you close enough. But I think it's going to be okay. So I decided I was going to come in with some transparent raw umber fluid acrylic and get some more color down on here. I don't want it to get too dark, so I'm going to be very careful. Actually, I think I'm going to start with the sap green. I pulled out my sap green permanent. This is Liquitex fluid acrylic, acrylic ink. I'm going to shake it up real good here. Just want to get a little bit of this. I actually want to get a little bit of the blue too. I pulled this cerulean blue out in the Liquitex also, and I think these together would actually be quite beautiful. I maybe should mix them a little bit on my mat here just to kind of test it out, because I don't want to go overboard with the color in the background. So just a little bit of green. I got that contaminated, so I'm going to wipe that off. Make sure I don't get that back in, that blue and the green. So there we go. Let me just give it a little bit of water. See what we get. See what we get. Just using that brush that I used, that other funky color. Ooh, that's a really pretty color. Ooh. I don't want a lot of it though, because I want the door to actually stand out. And it won't if I get carried away, as I often do. Ooh, I like that. A little bit down here. Really pretty color. I'm gonna go ahead and let it run a little bit here too. If it runs into the door, I can always wipe it off. Sorry about the angle, it's a little tricky. I love that color though. That was definitely a win. As long as I have some light in it, it's gonna be okay as far as the door standing out. So I think we're gonna be all right. I really like that. I'm trying to grab a baby wipe out of a mostly empty container there. So just going to dab that up a little bit because I don't want it to take over. I want it to be more subtle. Didn't look like it really got much on the door, so I think we're okay there. Yeah, like that. Probably should get some here beside the door here since I've got it around it everywhere else. Just getting a little bit of color down. I like that. And I'm not even going to bother to dry. I think I'll be okay if I just go in with the transparent raw umber. But this time I'm going to spray here and there, and I'm just going to drop it directly on the surface. Originally I'd pulled out transparent raw sienna, but I really like the umber better, so I'm going to go with it. Just love how it moves. So cool. Oh, I love this. Now the key is to stop before I go out of control, which is always the tricky part for me. I always end up doing too much to it. I'm gonna let that run a little bit. And I can wipe it off the door again, guys. So I'm just gonna do that real quick. Oh, I love that. It's gonna now need some more green because that is absolutely gorgeous. Kind of wish I didn't do that coffee color or toffee color paint, but it's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop in a little bit of the cerulean blue straight. See what we get. Just here and there. Never know unless you try. Okay, let's see what we get here. That's really bold, but it's okay. So I'm gonna again let that kind of run a little bit, get into all those cracks, which is the real beauty. So when it goes into the cracks, it's awesome. So I'm gonna dab that up. Because again, I don't want it to overtake. Just want it to be really subtle, especially that blue. Don't want that to be, that's reactivating that texture paste, so I need to stop and dry this before I reach the point of no return, because I've added water to the surface and that maybe was not completely dry. So let me just wipe this, and I'm going to pause and dry really, really well, and then I'll be back. So just a bit. Okay, I think we're dry now. I think some of this texture paste just was not quite dry, so I think it's going to be okay now. I did notice that when I mixed that green and blue together, I kind of got this kind of a dull, kind of a gray look, which I don't care for. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with a little bit more color independently. So I'm going to go in with some of the sap green by itself and then some of the blue, and let it mix naturally if it wants to, or if it does, it has a different effect. I think the cerulean is not very transparent. Let's look on the bottle. It's fairly opaque. It's not that transparent, so that's probably why we're having that issue too. I'm gonna go ahead and get some green in here. Bring some of this color back. I like some of what's happening here, but not all of it. There we go. So again, I'm going to kind of tip it and let it run a little bit. I'll wipe it off of the door again. I keep mentioning that. Hopefully the water that I'm adding is not going to create a problem with that texture paste again. So I'm going to go ahead and clean off the excess off the door. Just want that door to really be beautiful. I think no matter what I do on the outside, this door is going to pop. It's going to be fine because it's so vibrant. Whoa, that was a lot. Whoa. Okay, here we go. I just didn't like that it kind of got a muddy look when I mixed the two on my mat. So you do want to kind of be careful with that, because if you mix an opaque color with another color, it's not going to be very, it's just going to be, not going to be opaque. So I'm going to put a little bit more up here. Not sure why that's not coming out of my dropper very well. Because once I dry this, then I can come in with the blue too, because it won't move it, because it'll be permanent by that point. So I'm just going to get a lot of color here, and then we'll dry and then go to the next step. So it's all about the layers, guys. I'm going to dab a little bit up, just keep it kind of mellow before I dry it. Wipe off the door again. Oh, that green is actually staying on the door. There we go. Wasn't coming up. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and dry this again, and I'll be right back. Okay, I am going to come in with some more of the transparent raw umber. I don't like what's going on here at all. It just looks really strange to me. I don't know if it's this edge or if it's this edge, but it's bothering me. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do to resolve that. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and add some the raw umber, transparent raw umber in the acrylic ink. Go ahead and shake this up again. And this time I'm going to just apply it and then apply a little bit of water, because I think I'm getting too much water on my surface, which is part of why I'm having an issue. So I'm going to get back up in here and get some more of this brown. It's really pretty, and I definitely need some brown over here. That green took over big time. So go ahead and give this a try. It's all an experiment, guys. Okay. I don't think I need to, I think I need to avoid having it run. Maybe that's my problem, is I'm losing some of the control when I do that. So let's just go ahead and get this off the door again. And I love that brown though. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I may come in with a glaze too of the raw umber in the fluid acrylic in the end. We'll see, because it'll be a little bit, I think it'll be better. Come on. I know you're almost out, but just help me out here. Go ahead and sop a little bit of this up here and there, just so it's not too, I think that brown helps in this area here. It's got a lot of liquid. Loving that though. I think I need a little bit more over here. I know it looks like a hot mess, guys, especially on camera. In person, it's a little bit better. Camera's always tricky. Sorry, my computer is not muted, so some notifications are popping up. Oh, I like that. I'm going to leave that be as I dab. I always say that. I think I need a little bit more in here too. I just love that raw umber. It's so pretty. Need some down here too. Stop, computer. I love that. Almost looks like moss. Let's see if I can show it to you here in a second. Just want a little bit of it in some of these cracks now. If I can let it move into those cracks a little bit. So beautiful. And as usual, this is way different than I had in my mind, but I'm creating intuitively and I'm going to be happy with it because it's what I feel I wanted to do, so it's okay. Video is getting a little long, so I'm probably going to have to do a voiceover. It's okay though. I like that. So we're going to go ahead and pause and dry this, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys. So this is what it looks like now. This has just been problematic. I know it just still looks like a hot mess. I still got some modeling paste or whatever that tried to lift, and I just got all kinds of problems. So, but I will fuss and fuss and fuss until this is irreparable. So, which is not uncommon for me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in with some of my Art Alchemy waxes. They really do a good job of highlighting some of this texture. So I'm debating on whether or not I want to use the Peacock or the Patina Blue. I almost want to do the Peacock, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. It has enough green, it has enough brown, but now I want to bring out some blue. And so I'll show you what this looks like as it's kind of dried out. I haven't used this in a while. So I'm just going to kind of apply it here and there just to bring out some of that blue again, being very careful where I was having issues with the modeling paste, that texture paste. I think that the TCW is just not as durable as like Liquitex flexible modeling paste. That might have been my error because I don't usually have this problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with this because, again, it is what it is. It's what I created in the moment, and even though, again, it's not quite what I had pictured in my mind, it's beautiful nonetheless. I might add a little bit of gold too. We'll see. Oh, it's lifting again. Doggone it. I don't know what the problem is there. That's just lifting up. Do you see that? So frustrating. Really frustrating. See, there we go. It's like it doesn't know how to stick to the surface. So I think I'm going to need to leave this and let it like dry overnight, because it's just not going to, I don't think it's going to resolve itself until it's had maybe 24 hours or so to dry. So this is really all I was going to do anyway. I am going to come in with and put the word chapters probably here on the door. I'll do my edging around the piece, and I'll show you, there'll be the final pictures at the end of the video. But I think I'm going to call it good for now, because I don't want to mess it up further. It's a process, and my mind is elsewhere. It's been a while since I created mixed media, so I'm going to just be happy with this and move on. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to read the inspiration behind this piece, as I mentioned before, regarding my mother-in-law, that will be on my Sunday's Art of Truth on the day that this video posts on YouTube. And you can head on over to B.Rebornart.com, excuse me, B.Rebornart.com to read that blog post and see close-up pictures of the project. If I make any other changes, obviously you'll see them in the final pics. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.